much power you got?
Oh, man, you know I got some soul power.
What kind of power you got?
Man, what's with that? I got soul power.
Yes, you do.
Right on, let me ask you something other than work here.
Yes.
What's wrong?
I'm too strong.
What?
I'm too strong. Too strong. I want a victory.
Oh, I want to pick you
I
up.
want a victory. You want a victory?
What is it about this that boils up this emotion inside of us? Why is it that watching these players line up shoulder to shoulder with such brotherly love gives us this sense of invincibility? Today I'm going to talk to you about our need as humans for the affection of those around us, and its importance not only on our mental health, but our physical health as well. Every human being craves the affection of a parent, longs for the strong bond of a friend, and searches for the relationship that will continue to love us unconditionally. After today, I hope you'll begin to get a glimpse of the importance of affection in each and every one of our lives. Over the last couple of weeks, I've done extensive research on the chemistry of the brain when our sense of touch is engaged, and its impact on our growth and development. Thankfully, I'm also a registered and certified mama's boy. This has given me a personal connection to the topic of affection and made me more interested in delving deeper into our reliance on affection. The power of affection seems to stretch its borders into nearly every aspect of human life. The most important discoveries I have made are the importance of affection in the early stages of our lives, how strong our desire for affection is in the developmental stages of our lives, and the seemingly limitless wonders that one simple embrace can produce. Now let's start from the beginning. We're small and delicate, and our most keen sense at this point is our sense of touch. Now countless parents and relatives can attest to the wave of peace that comes over a child when they're simply held in the arms of their mother. However, the absence of this touch can be detrimental to the lives of these children. Crystal Leonard of Serendip Studio writes about a puzzling phenomenon known by many doctors in the early 20th century as failure to thrive syndrome. In many hospitals and orphanages, the infants were not developing correctly, and in many cases, they were not surviving. The hospitals were providing all the necessary medical care, a clean environment, and healthy food. The only service that the hospitals were not providing was the individual affection of each of the infants. Dasher Keltner, a professor at Berkeley, discusses this and says the mortality rate of these infants was reaching up to 75%. Keltner says, once the caretakers were told to begin to hold the babies, the infants actually stopped dying. Keltner moves on to discuss a study conducted by Tiffany Field, an expert in the field of touch. Field said that infants who received just 3 15-minute sessions of touch therapy a day for 5 to 10 days gained 47% more weight than infants who received standard medical treatment. Now, let's move on to the developmental stages of life. Psychologist Harry Harlow conducted a study which portrayed affection as our strongest desire. In the study, Harlow isolated infant monkeys from their parents at birth and kept all other conditions stable. After some time had passed, Harlow put 2 surrogate mothers in the cages with the infants, one being a wired monkey with a bottle of milk, and the other being a wooden monkey wrapped in terry cloth with no milk. For hours, the infant monkeys held onto the soft, terry cloth monkeys while ignoring the milk offered by the cold, wired monkeys. This shows that our desire for affection is even stronger than our need for food. Unfortunately, due to the lack of affection, these infants developed abnormally. For example, they were self-clasping, aggressive, and uninterested in socialization. So we've talked about the importance of affection in the early stages of our lives. We've talked about it in the developmental stages of our lives. But there's still something left that is so amazing that affection can do for us. Now this is the peak of the story. The bread and the butter, the icing on the cake, the top of the mountain, the vicious crescendo, and it's oxytocin. Oxytocin is a hormone released from a pea-sized structure in the base of the brain. Oxytocin is what gives us that feeling of security during a loving embrace that nothing else on this earth is capable of. Ina Newman says that oxytocin's impact on pro-social behaviors and emotional responses relates to relaxation, trust, and psychological stability. Oxytocin is what gives us that sense of peace in the eye of the storm when everything else in our world is falling apart. And just a simple hug from someone we care about can make all the angst, fear, stress, worry, and pain disappear. And that is the effect of affection. Michelangelo famously stated, "To touch is to give life." Today we talked about the importance of affection in the early stages of our lives, when we need it in order to survive, to the developmental stages of our lives, when we use it in order to thrive, and even to our older years, when the release of oxytocin has been proven to fight against symptoms related to Alzheimer's disease. To close, I like to read from Romans 12, verses 9 through 10. It says, "Let love be genuine. Abhor what is evil, hold fast to what is good. Love one another with brotherly affection." Thank you. And now, to help you guys release some oxytocin, I'm going to try and throw these around real quick.
Do it.
Professor Vaughn, I'm going to throw this one to you, okay?